Welcome back, everyone. All you have to do to understand, you hear the phrase a lot, protect our environment, right? And with climate change and everything else, it's becoming so much more serious. Well, we also happen to live in an area where you can hop in your car and go 5 minutes in any direction, and protecting our environment has new meaning. It has new meaning because of just the beautiful nature of where we live, and followed pretty closely by the fact that it's the key to our economic success, this beautiful environment that we live in. Well, at the Warren County Board of Supervisor level, for years, the supervisors have been very aware of passing legislation and working in committees to help protect our environment. And recently we got some news that one of those supervisors, Claudia Braymer, is now leading up an initiative. So joining me today is Claudia Braymer. Hello, Claudia.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Granted, the background's a little different than the porch. The last time you zoomed in, you were on your back porch. Not today, Claudia. Not a good idea.
It's a little too cold to be on the porch today.
Yes, it's true. Hey, what I said I know is true, and you and I have known each other for a number of years, and I know you feel this way. What is it about the environment that makes you want to participate in helping to protect it?
I've always had a respect for the outdoors, and I think that really comes from my parents. They were always taking us out hiking and camping, and I love being out in nature because it helps me feel free and helps me stay grounded. And so I like to think of myself as speaking for the trees. My children see me that way because we know that the forest can't speak for themselves. They need somebody out there in government helping to protect those really important places. And like you said here, a lot of people value that for our ability to have an economic impact because of our natural resources and people coming up and, kind of ecotourism kind of thing. So I see it very valuable for those two reasons, for the intrinsic value and also for our economic engine here in the Lake George area.
Another layer to that, Claudia, of course, is the fact that with the pandemic, people's interest in our region and the desire to be outside and not in closed spaces for all of the obvious reasons about contagions and things like that, really led to more of a physical impact on our environment, which of course adds that other dimension. It's one thing to protect an environment when only a few people wander in and out of it, but it's another thing to protect that environment when a lot of people are moving in and out of it. I want our viewers to know that Warren County has been recognized over the years, and I need to refer to my notes here for a second, for reducing greenhouse emissions, and received two very interesting designations. Certified Bronze Climate Smart Community, and the other is a Clean Energy Community, and that one was awarded by NYSERDA in 2020. And you get awarded those designations for having made advancements in a number of very, very important fields. Claudia, from the supervisor point of view, you're totally aware of these designations and whatever. How are they doled out, and what specifically do they sort of award or refer to?
So specifically, the Bronze Climate Smart Community program is through DEC, and they have a list of initiatives that you can take. They have different priority areas, and some of them are like, for instance, at the County Municipal Center, we installed electric vehicle charging stations for our employees to use or for guests to use. We also put together a unified solar permit so that people getting solar on their homes can have a faster, more efficient process. And another one is a financing program through the county to allow people to get some financing, low interest financing, if they're going to install energy efficiency upgrades to their buildings. So there's actually, in order to get the certification, you go through these steps, and then you're awarded with the certification, and hopefully that comes with funding to help you take new steps.
Now that funding, of course, federal funding, state funding, could be both sources, right? But recently you were appointed to the, and I'm going to have to look down, these alphabet soups drive me crazy, Claudia. New York Association County Climate Action Committee. That's a state agency, correct?
It's a state association of all the counties across the whole state. And they just formed a new standing committee on climate action. And I've been named to that committee, so I'm really excited for that.
So that would be in addition to your participation in the Warren County Climate Smart Task Force.
That's correct. You got it. Yeah.
First, I can't believe I got it. That's it. But only a lawyer like yourself, Claudia, would know how to manage all of this. So that sounds to me like, well, first, congratulations. That's really wonderful for a whole region. Anybody that knows Claudia and knows her, what interests her, what drives her, would recognize that the more access she has to other agencies and other associations to help forward the initiatives that we identify right here in Warren County is really particularly important. So when did that happen, Claudia? When were you appointed to that? Or
That was just earlier this month in February.
yeah, great. Congratulations. What does it mean?
Well, I'm going to be able to participate on this committee with other leaders around the state to advocate for climate action and funding for counties, all 62 counties. But of course, I'm going to do the best I can to drive some of those resources home to Warren County.
Yes, for sure. And I suppose that you would then lead our Warren County Board of Supervisors in proposing some of those initiatives. And of course, sharing your learning with the other supervisors.
Absolutely, yes. One of the things that I've already done through the State Association Committee is to prepare a resolution that I'm hoping the association will take up at our legislative meeting in March. And then we'll send that on to all of our state representatives and to the governor, asking for support for the climate action plan that's coming out from the state, as well as funding and technical support for the counties. And I'll be looking for the county, Warren County, to support that initiative as well, so that hopefully we can get some more funding to help with what we are doing in the Warren County Climate Smart Task Force.
I followed that, believe it or not. Let's cycle back on that. Very aggressive there, Claudia. You're in this association for about 10 minutes and you're already proposing a resolution. Let's go back on that resolution. Explain that in a little bit more detail, would you?
So at NYSAC, New York State Association of Counties, we have a legislative conference every March where we try to put forward resolutions to the state legislature on things that all of the counties prioritize. And because we have this new standing committee, I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity to try to put forward a resolution that NYSAC will adopt and then send up to the state legislature and to the governor, supporting the state's climate action plan, which came out of the 2019 Climate Smart Community Leaders Act. That's not the right name. There's a long acronym for it, but they're starting to take more actions to meet the state's climate goals.
Got it. I'm a car junkie. I've been a car junkie my whole life, and I've watched the evolution of EVs, and that evolution is now turning into a revolution. Anxiety range, they're reaching the 300-mile anxiety range for EVs. There are quick charging stations that will give you 80% of your charge in like 18 minutes now, something like that. So I know that putting EV charging stations around will help our community in a number of different ways. And I think you mentioned that's the kind of funding that we're talking about, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I know how much you love cars, so I'm glad to hear that you're supporting this initiative or transition to electric vehicles. And that's certainly something that I'm hoping to lead that effort. I'm already working behind the scenes to try to get our own county fleet vehicles transition from the gas-powered to the electric vehicles. And we can certainly spread that around the community. I know there are places in the community where we've installed electric vehicle charging stations, and people are able to get grant funding through NYSERDA and other federal programs.
One last thing, question about that. I would imagine that, you really are seeking to learn more about greenhouse gas emissions and how we take an inventory of those emissions in our county, and how then we intend to create an action plan to combat some of that. That all of those things always require a certain amount of funding for research and development, and then recommendations, and then executions. Nothing could be more important than protecting natural resources, period, which is what globally climate change is about. But for us to take a lead in our county is particularly important for the reasons we've stated throughout this interview. I really commend you for taking it. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this, Claudia.
It takes the funding, like you mentioned, the time and the effort and the collaboration. So that big picture inventory that you're talking about and a countywide action plan, we're going to need Glens Falls, Queensbury, Lake George, Bolton, the whole entire county to work with us on that. And many of the municipalities do have some of these actions underway. So it's going to take a lot, but it's a lofty goal and an important goal.
Well, good. Well, again, congratulations to you on that appointment. And we're really lucky to have somebody like you on the board to be able to identify these issues, work on them, make recommendations, make resolutions, and get the board as a whole to support these initiatives. So congratulations to you. All right, that's all we have time for today. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll be checking in with you on this. And any developments, please let us know. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Thanks again.
Okay, take care.
Bye.